in the top left position, we do have the blue Protoss player from Team Axiom. It is CranK. And up in the top right, from Mouse Esports, as we were just saying, only 15 years old, the Red Terran, HeroMarine.
And, I mean, HeroMarine has shown some fantastic play en route through this tournament, but CranK is arguably the favorite to top his group here, and HeroMarine really is starting out with the hardest possible match he could have. Let's see what kind of play he has against his Protoss here. Of course, the other 4 players in this group, guys, are Zerg players. We have Tefl, who came in through the qualifiers, I believe, and then we have 3 Bring Your Own Computer qualifiers in this group as well.
So, it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, being a PvT, there's lots of key stages. Firstly, you've got the point where, obviously, gateway units are good. Then, generally speaking, Terran players tend to get out stim and suddenly start wrecking everything. And finally, you then start seeing Protoss players decide, well, maybe I should get out some kind of splash damage. Colossi, High Templar with Storm, all good options. There's a few other things. Air builds have become more popular. HeroMarine, I haven't actually... I don't know if you've seen any of his games recently, Jolasa.
I've seen his games in the qualifiers where he seemed to be honest, he just plays very, very solidly and has really good macro, especially when he micro rather in his early game aggression if he decides to do that. I wouldn't say there's anything particular that makes him go, oh wow, he plays completely different from other Terrans out there, but he gives an overall feeling of being very, very solid, especially going into the late game, much like Hasuob's is with Protoss, basically. And we've seen some of his games there where he has just absolutely annihilated opponents in long games. But CranK, though, Axiom's CranK, let's give credit where it's due. Very, very strong. Arguably one of the favorites to take this entire tournament before the start of this weekend. A lot of people were hyping him up. And this is hopefully just going to be a set of really, really good games.
Yeah, it should be really, really good indeed. And I think one of the tough things is with the way HeroMarine, as you quite rightly said, can do a lot of different builds effectively, and it's just all-round solid. It's difficult to counter him, because on the one hand, some players, if they're really good at early aggression, you just adjust your build, you go for something nice and safe, and you out-macro them long-term. If they're really big macro players, you go aggressive, and that way. But when someone's just all-round solid, what do? You have to play your style and hope they can't adapt to it.
Yeah, no, you're completely right there. Very, very difficult sort of when you're trying to predict what your opponent's going to do there, and we already have a forward pylon coming down. That's because this probe has scouted 2 locations, knows that HeroMarine is in the top right, so by the time the scout gets there, even if the probe gets taken down, at least a pylon will be out on the map.
Yeah, this is the problem, that you start getting quick warp-ins. Whirlwind is a big map, but with a pylon, it suddenly becomes very, very short rush distances. CranK getting up his natural now, and HeroMarine, he's already just about to complete his command center, so slightly ahead economically already. Getting that bunker down should be perfectly fine. He's got the additional 2 barracks following this up, just as standard as you can get.
Mothership Core now going to be flying towards HeroMarine's base. The SCV does actually see the expansion down. Mothership Core won't take him out, so HeroMarine will be able to get a decent scout off into CranK's base. We'll see both of those gases being taken there, and still only the 1 gateway. A sentry going to be popping out from him now, and that forward pylon, of course, remains unscouted. We have a Stalker here at the bottom of the ramp. HeroMarine, though, a bunker full of Marines, not really something that CranK can break through at the moment.
No, it's early days, but of course CranK going for that double forge, so double upgrades will be coming up. So he's in this for the long haul now. He's not going to try and rush anything. He's just asserting map dominance and running in with his Mothership Core, getting some good scouting information.
Yeah, this is something, this is actually something of a build that I believe Todd was talking about to me earlier, where you get that early double forge, and it's not because necessarily you want to go for some sort of big 1-1 timing, but it means that by about the 12-minute mark in the game, you can potentially already have 2-2 done. And that potential 2-2 timing, that once you've got the infrastructure up off of 2 bases, once you can get those additional gateways and those tech buildings out, allows your subsequent attack to be so, so strong, especially against an opponent who plays passively. So on this huge map here, let's see if HeroMarine might be electing to do some sort of aggressive play with drops a little bit later on. Maybe he can put a dent in the economy of CranK.
Well, straight away, he's already starting to tech quite nicely. He's getting his factory out. He's got Stim a quarter done. He's also getting down an engineering base, so looking to go towards some kind of upgrade play, looking to prepare for the later stages. But basically, CranK with Chrono Boost, with 1-1 already started, he's going to get a long way ahead very quickly. And as such, HeroMarine needs to either have a much more sizable army, a lot better economy, or some kind of great tech, because otherwise he's not going to trade cost effectively, which is oh so important.
Well, his army supply, I mean, at this early stage of the game, CranK are not able to do any sort of harassment damage because the bunker's down, and HeroMarine does have a sizable number of units there at the top of his ramp. He is getting 2 reactors on his barracks, so he will be able to get units out relatively quickly here. A starport going down immediately next to the factory where the reactor's popping out as well. So we can see the +1 attacks coming in, Stim is going to be coming in as well, and we should have the first 2 medevacs en route in a couple of minutes' time. Hallucinated Phoenix getting taken out there, but CranK sees pretty much everything.
Now this is a bit unfortunate. HeroMarine getting a small supply block there, which may not seem like much, but at this really early stage of the game, you can't afford to do something like that, especially at this level of play as well. So, as you're saying, the starport is just completing. We can see some cool things. A Twilight Council, that's quite an interesting choice.
Well, he wanted, this ties in with the double forge he went in the beginning.
Exactly.
Yep, so he's going to be able to use this Twilight Council to get that 2-2 as soon as 1-1 completes, and it's only a couple of seconds until they go in. So it looks like CranK is going to be going for a 2-2 timing and charge on the way as well.
He's also at exactly the same time getting, as you said, charge down, so he's got different options available to him. He's going to be able to engage nicely, but CranK definitely looking favourable if this goes long term. Already with a great upgrade advantage of 1-1, and if HeroMarine tries to push out with that +1 Stim timing, it's not necessarily going to be able to do that much, because CranK, while he doesn't have a huge standing force, it's going to start quickly building up now.
He does need to be a little bit careful. I mean, if HeroMarine decided to move out with some aggression early on, which it looks like he's doing at the moment, moving towards the middle of the map, this ramp at the end of the day is not the smallest ramp in the game, and we're going to have a decent amount of sentry energy, of course, to keep those units out. Another Hallucinated Phoenix from CranK will be going across the map there, so he will be able to scout that there are not nearly as many units out the front, and a couple of medevacs being, moving out as well. I think that should give CranK a little bit of a heads up that something is incoming. A single Marine popping in now, and CranK knows that an attack is possibly incoming here.
HeroMarine loading up, going to come and drop into the main base, and this is a nice little choice because already CranK positioning himself ready to potentially come and cover, but needs to be very wary if a drop comes up. There's also that double forge slightly exposed there, and if that gets taken out, that would be a big loss, but it looks like CranK actually going to be able to come and defend this.
The Marines in the natural picking off a couple of probes there, but Photon Overcharge going down on the Nexus, and the army from CranK moving in. Oh, wow, actually, HeroMarine being very aggressive, going the other side of those 2 forges, and CranK having a little bit of difficulty getting units in there, actually. The Marines in a fantastic position.
Yeah, they are. A quick lift goes down, another boost should be on the cards any second. There goes, it's off cooldown, so straight back out of there, but not even going out. He's continuing this even more.
The 2-2 is nearly done, though, and look, this is a good example of base architecture potentially working against CranK a little bit here. HeroMarine utilizing that very well indeed, but how much damage did he actually get done? Workers killed so far this game, 8. He did escape with both medevacs, which is really nice. Some of those units, especially the ones at the 12 o'clock position on the map now, are a little bit exposed. They're not very high health at the moment, but otherwise, CranK's come out of that relatively unscathed, and 3-3 has just started. We're at the 11-minute 40-second mark. This is what we were talking about. 2-2 by 12 minutes. 3-3 immediately getting started, deciding actually not going for a 2-2 timing. Had to deal with that drop play a little bit. But hey, how about some 3-3 slightly later on?
One thing I have noticed is HeroMarine, he got the double forge, but what he hasn't seen is anything else. He has no clue what sort of text coming down. I don't believe the High Templar were revealed. And as such, this is just HeroMarine pushing in Storm, though still a long way away, going for some good force moves, allowing the Zealot to engage, but this is not going at all in CranK's favour.
Yeah, I think this could be a fantastic timing for HeroMarine. CranK, of course, deciding, well, hang on a second, I spent some units holding that off. Maybe I should go for a 3-3 timing instead. But HeroMarine following that up with more aggression, and he had a couple of Hellbats in with that as well, allowing him to get a really nice amount of damage done on those Zealots. CranK is slowly whittling this army down, but it's not enough to eliminate it entirely, and that's the big problem here. HeroMarine up to 110 supply versus 60. I think the choice to go 3-3 straight away and try and get that later timing might be the undoing here for CranK.
But there's that Storm. It could be the saving grace. One of the medevacs actually got taken out there. And, well, with Storm, this is what CranK was waiting for. He needed it so desperately. The cooldown on those warp gates is about to complete. And with only 1 medevac full of Marines, I don't think it's going to be enough.
And Archon there working away at that 1 medevac, but it's not the one being rushed into the mineral line. A couple more Zealots popping out here, and CranK will, it looks like he might be able to just hold this off. He needs to hold it off and then try and get a small period of time where he's doing nothing but mining and putting himself into an army. He needs to invest into that right now, because when that 3-3 completes is a massive timing for him, and he doesn't want to succumb to sustained pressure.
No, that is completely true, Jarosar, hitting the nail on the head. Upgrade-wise for HeroMarine, he does have +3 infantry weapons coming down and +1 armor, but he's getting so far behind just in terms of this. The CranKs can have some really nice timing windows, but the other thing, which I really want to point out, is that actually, the Ghost Academy's down, Ghost should start hitting the field shortly, and that's when High Templar become a lot less effective.
Oh, very nice storms there, and actually HeroMarine not splitting out of those storms with the middle of that army quite that well. We have some charge lots and an Archon coming in here. Is it going to be enough? Photon overcharge on the next as well. CranK desperately trying to hold on here. 3-3 is completing in just 10 in-game seconds. He already, of course, has that upgrade advantage, but it's going to be absolutely huge in a moment. He's down to 79 supply versus 126. So CranK is about 50 supply down at the moment, but the quality of his army is now huge. We have another drop going down in the main base now from HeroMarine. What can CranK do?
Well, CranK is warping in units straight away. He's running up those zealots from behind. 3-3, as you said, is now completed. These are going to have to retreat. However, behind this, as it's getting cleaned up, it's worth pointing out, HeroMarine, 62 SCVs, 3 bases, compared to 45 probes, 2 bases. That is a big economic lead for our Terran player.
Exactly. So what that really is telling us now that CranK needs to get a push together where he basically takes out the third base and contains HeroMarine on 2. But with HeroMarine keeping his medevacs alive so well when he's doing these drops, it's going to be very difficult for CranK to move out on the map and not sustain any damage back at home. HeroMarine is dropping effectively non-stop here, and that's really annoying CranK at this point of the game.
Annoying, it's incredibly frustrating. Very few things could be as annoying as this, because ultimately this is what harassment style play is all about. Keeping your opponent, who can potentially come and attack you, pinned back, allowing you to take lots of expansions. And we saw there a couple of units get taken out, but, well, in this main base, in this main mineral line, there could be some problems.
And look at that. That is the power of those 3-3 zealots. Just a couple of them there, but completely annihilating the double drop as soon as it goes down. That aggression from HeroMarine completely getting taken out here. And CranK, clothing supply gap now. He's up to 120 supply versus the 150 of HeroMarine, and his army is looking increasingly like he wants to move out further on the map.
Now, what are your takes on the fact that CranK still only on High Templar? He's got no robo or anything, any sort of tech switch coming anytime soon. And we're already at the 17-minute mark, so it's the sort of time when you want to start be thinking about it, because otherwise the ghost numbers are going to get a lot higher. Already 9 out on the field.
Yeah.
Potentially problematic.
CranK was put in a very difficult position there, Maddles. I think he wanted to move out when his 3-3 was done, wasn't able to because of the drops. He needed to try and pick off a couple more of those medevacs that would have made him feel safer sooner. But while this was going on, HeroMarine, yes, okay, he's not 3-3 yet. He's only started +2 armor, but +3 attack is now done, and that combined with the EMPs actually puts HeroMarine in an okay position. High Templar gonna get caught out in the middle of the map. What are they doing? A couple of good storms go down, but oh my goodness.
Basically there, CranK was distracted because a Hellbat drop went down in his natural mineral line. It killed 37 probes, and that means that currently, well, 37 probes up to 62 SCVs for HeroMarine. He's so far ahead. These ghosts are doing a nice job, and this is exactly what I said. CranK, I don't think he's going to be able to hold this now, because suddenly we have got HeroMarine with such a better economy, so much more stuff. Even though the upgrades are there for CranK, he just has nothing to deal with those ghosts once the EMPs hit. Yeah,
this is a disaster right now for CranK. Very, very difficult to come back from this. 38 workers killed so far for HeroMarine. The third is going to get denied as well. And the income for CranK is basically half that for HeroMarine right now. CranK looking like he's going to go down 0-1, and HeroMarine really showing us that actually, guys, don't worry, the Korean players aren't just going to waltz in here and mop up.
Well, we already saw that with 4GG getting knocked out.
Yeah. Oh, very, very difficult position, and CranK now on 64 supply.
Those snipes are absolutely brilliant, getting so many of those High Templar. There's only 2 left on the field. 2 storms is all that is out, and basically now, HeroMarine, he's just containing CranK. He knows that he's so far ahead economically, having denied that third. He knows that he's got the tech there to deal with this. He hasn't seen any robo, anything at all, and